How's it going, you guys? So 8 months ago I made a video about a prototype shoe that we saw Saucony athletes like Jared Ward racing in for marathons, and I was very hyped and excited to see what they had to offer. Fast forward to today and I have my own pair of what turned out to be the Saucony Endorphin Pro. I've been able to put a few runs on this guy, so let's get into my first impressions. Everything about this shoe is new, but let's start with the upper. The upper is very minimal and thin, and it's based off the Endorphin track spikes upper. The tongue has no padding at all, and the heel counter is actually more flexible than you'd think. The midsole is thick at 35mm and has an 8mm drop. It uses Saucony Speedroll technology, which is a smooth rocker like you'd find in a Hoka. The midsole itself is made up of Power Run PB, which is a PEBA-based foam, and it's also what ZoomX uses. There's a carbon plate in there to add some stiffness and pop. The outsole has a lot of coverage in the forefoot and a decent amount in the heel, and uses a lot of flex grooves. So when talking about an elite marathon racing shoe with a carbon plate and PEBA-based foam, everybody's going to want to compare this to the Nike Vaporfly and how it compares. So keep in mind that the Endorphin Pro is $50 cheaper than the Vaporfly Next %, but I'll say that it feels more stable in the heel and forefoot than the Vaporfly, and it has a less aggressive rocker. But the Endorphin Pro isn't quite as soft. I'll have to break them in some more and let you guys know in my 100-mile review though. So when comparing the Power Run PB of the Endorphin Pro to the React and carbon plate in the Zoom Fly, again I found that the Nike has a more aggressive rocker underneath the ball of my foot, and the React foam was firmer and less bouncy than the Power Run PB. Alright, so we went over the shoe. Let's talk about my first impressions of the fit and ride. So I am a men's size 12 in most shoes, and this guy is no different. I'd say it fits true to size. The only thing I did notice is that if I was wearing thinner socks, sometimes I could feel my toes kind of slide around in the toe box. An example of this is when going down a steep hill. The ride of the Endorphin Pro is very smooth. It's a nice mix of bouncy cushion and a firm, responsive toe off. I've tried it at a few different paces and it's been very smooth no matter what, but I'll give you a full review once I've done the wide range of runs. So it's crazy to say this, but $200 for this guy actually isn't that bad, considering that most of these bleeding edge, high-end, high-cushion, carbon-plated marathon racers are closer to $250 nowadays. But I'm also very curious about the Endorphin Speed, which is very similar to this guy. It still uses the Power Run PB, it doesn't use a carbon plate, it uses a nylon plate, and has a more structured upper, and that's at $160. So definitely curious about that. So overall, after a few runs in the Saucony Endorphin Pro, I think it's a real Vaporfly competitor, and I think I'd honestly choose this for my next half marathon or marathon race. I of course will go way more into depth on this shoe once I give you guys my full review. Subscribe so you don't miss that, and as always, keep on running.